Hello, I did a previous video but the sound was ruined towards the end, so I will try to make another video right now, and I try to be shorter and faster. And this will be what you may call a Russian disinformation campaign, words from a Russian spy, Kremlin bot, so on and so forth. And this is a different opinion, aka Russian propaganda. This is not my comment, not my text. I'm just briefly translated it. Briefly, why Ukraine deserved what it deserved. First, for regular unpunished insults and beatings of veterans of the Great Patriotic War, World War II, and people laying flowers at the monuments of those who died on the territory of Ukraine on May 9th, Victory Day in Russia with Bandera scum. Second, on the desecration of monuments to the heroes of the Great Patriotic War, and for the fact that not a single vandal was tried for this. For helping Dudayev's Islamists in 1994-1996 in Chechen War, who beheaded the living people. For mocking by nationalist politicians on television over the deaths of children in the Beslan school seized by terrorists, and for the fact that there were no consequences for their words. For military assistance to the chauvinist regime of Saakashvili in Georgia in 2008 to attack Russian peacekeepers and the people of South Ossetia. For burning of their own citizens by dozens in Odessa alive in trade union house fire in 2014, and for the fact that those who committed this also experienced no consequences to their actions. For extrajudicial reprisals against the opponents of Euromaidan revolution only because they dared to have a different opinion. For extrajudicial reprisals by Euromaidan proponents against law enforcement officers, including spreading of special instructions leaflets which recommended pushing members of law enforcement in the back under the wheels of a subway train, they cutting and shooting upon returning from work, even those who did not participate in the dispersal of the Euromaidan crowds, taking their children as hostages. For the propaganda of the ideas of the SS Division Galicia, who wished to kill all Russians, people with brown skin, and Jews, which billboards were flaunted on the streets of Lvov and other Ukrainian cities. Then, for provoking hatred between the Crimea Tatars and Slavs in Crimea in hopes that they two peoples will fight each other, grab each other by the throat, and allow Kiev politicians to divide and rule. Thus, for the molestation of children by pride parades of homosexuals in Ukrainian cities, for demonstrative burnings of Orthodox icons by nationalist Atoshniks, for constant voting in the UN General Assembly against a resolution condemning the propaganda of Nazism, that is, voting for Nazism to continue to live, for the massacres of children, women, and the elderly in Donbass with air bombs and heavy artillery, for the malicious cackle with which Ukraine drowned out the tears and groans of these children, for indifference to their deaths from hunger, cold, and lack of medicines when wounded. For the development of biological weapons and weapons of mass destruction, dirty nuclear bomb, with which the Ukrainian Nazis were going to greatly reduce Russian population, poison waters and animals. For organizing fraud using telephone scam calls to our population, mainly the elderly, pensioners, disabled people, with subsequent withdrawal of funds from their bank accounts. Example: hello, I'm calling from the bank. Somebody tried to transfer your money to someone named X in the sum of X. Do you confirm such money transfer? Oh no, let me help you cancel it. I need your bank account data. Another example, in grave whispering voice. Hey dad, hey mom, it's me, your son. I got into a car crash. The police is asking the bribe, otherwise I will be in prison. Could you pass X sum onto my acquaintance? He will come to pick them up soon. He will call soon. Provide your address to him. 16th. For the organization of drug cartels on the territory of Russia, as well as the creation of drug laboratories and the distribution of drugs among our youth. According to the information obtained by the drug police operatives after the arrest of large drug dealers, this is the state policy of the criminal authorities of Ukraine. For names of streets, squares, parks, stadiums with the names of Nazi criminals. For the complete destruction of Russian schools, thousands and thousands, and the prohibition of native language of the majority of population of Ukraine, Russian. For massive calls with fake bombs reports to schools and hospitals in Russia. For artillery shelling of the territory of Russia. For the black business of trading in human organs to the West. For organizing water and electric blockade of the Crimea Peninsula. For Thomas, for the seizure of churches and for bullying clergy and parishioners, including torture and murder. So, how did I want to end this? Well, basically, I want to make a separate video about Nazism in Ukraine.